on there, we'll just go to messaging, because that's quite a key thing with this handset. Because of the large display, it makes messaging very easy. I mean, I can tap out a message extremely quickly on this with very few mistakes since I've been using this device. It's still predictive, it still has predictive text, it still predicts what you're going to write. If you do go wrong, it does fix that. But you won't make as many mistakes because the keyboard is so large. If we just flick the phone on the side, you can see we also get a landscape QWERTY keyboard as well. So if you've got slightly wider fingers, you may opt for this. But to be honest, for the majority of people, I'd imagine that the portrait keyboard would be plenty big enough. One of the other strengths, obviously, is internet browsing. Because of the large display, you can see it comes up very nicely. I'm just going to quickly hop onto the MobilePwn website. And again, we are on a Wi-Fi connection, so it should be a pretty decent speed. It shouldn't take very long at all, as you'll see now. This device got a 1.5 GHz processor on board. It's not the dual-core 1.5 GHz processor as in the Sensation XE, but it's still pretty quick. I mean, you can see that load up really quickly. We've got some flash ads just coming up the top and side now. Again, didn't take very long. May or may not be able to see in the video, but it's a bit fuzzy because of the low resolution. You can't read the text as easily in the fully zoomed out view as you might have been able to on the Sensation XE and the regular Sensation. But nevertheless, I mean, I don't think many people would actually read the text in the fully zoomed out view. You're a lot more likely to zoom in, and when you do that, obviously you've got the larger display, making it very, very easy to read what you're looking at. And you can see everything works very fluidly, very smoothly. So to me, to be honest, in everyday use, you don't really notice the fact that it's just a single core processor, nor do you really notice too much that it's a low resolution display. So although on paper the specs aren't as good as the Sensation XL, Sensation XE, the Sensation XL is still a good phone and still works fine day to day. Lastly, I'm just going to quickly go to the camera because it has a slightly better camera in terms of spec than the XE and original Sensation. It's again an 8 megapixel camera, but it's got a backside illuminated sensor and an f2.2 lens, which is supposed to mean that it works better in low light. In reality, it's much of a muchness. It might work slightly better, but it's still not a great image, to be fair. You can see the settings we've got here. We've got things like self-timer, white balance, ISO. You can make various image adjustments. We've got things like geotagging, face detection. You can see here. You can put a grid on if you want. So it's got all the features you would expect to find on a HTC camera phone. We've also got this new little effects part here, so you can put a different weird effect on the image as you take it. It's going to be quite fun for messing around, but otherwise isn't particularly practical or useful. And down the bottom corner in the left, once this gets out of our way, you can see we've got a button to go straight to the gallery, so we can see all the videos and images we've taken. So here's a sample of the video taken earlier. The XL records a maximum resolution of 720p. So again, it's down on the 1080p that the Sensation and Sensation XE can record, which is a little bit of a shame, but you can see the video looks good enough on the Sensation XL's display. Sounds good enough indoors. I didn't really get much chance to test it outside to see if it had the wind noise problems that some of the other HTC handsets suffer from, but generally it seemed pretty decent indoors. If we just quit back out of that, show you another feature of the Sensation SL's camera, and that is this slow motion video. You can see it looks a lot darker. It's a bit hard to tell in this video I've done, but it's also got this slow motion mode where it records slow motion video in WVGA resolution, so the same resolution as the display. So not particularly practical for any real use, but can be a bit of fun if you want to play the video back on the phone and do some silly slow motion videos or something. Alright, so lastly I'm just going to quickly show you through the apps list here in the main menu, show you what we've got preloaded on the Sensation XL. We've got the connected media, which is basically to allow you to stream your music and photos and videos that's saved on the phone to DLNA compatible TV or something like that. I've also got usual Facebook. I think Dropbox was something that was saved on my account and automatically got loaded in. It's possible that it could be standard these days. We've got Facebook Chat as well. You've got FriendStream, got a flashlight, got usual Google Mail, HTC Hub, HTC's Locations offline mapping service, which is a bit sort of like a Google Maps type thing, except you've got to pay for the turn-by-turn navigation, and all the maps are saved on the device rather than having to be downloaded as you go like you do with Google Maps. You've got Google Maps anyway, so should you need it, it's there, and you've got the navigation as well. You've got HTC's news and weather applications. You've got the mirror, which uses the forward-facing 1.3 megapixel camera at the top here to show you an image of yourself. Fortunately as well, that's not the only use for that camera this time, because you've also got the Tango video calling application pre-installed as well, and I tested that out with an iPad 2 on the other end, and it worked perfectly well. I mean, the quality obviously isn't going to be brilliant because it's a 1.3 megapixel camera, but nevertheless it works pretty decently. You've also got this new Notes application, which is a bit like what you find on HTC's Flyer tablet, basically that you can tap out notes whilst also, you can see at the top, recording audio as well. So if you're in a meeting, you can record what people are saying whilst tapping out notes, and whenever you tap out a note, it will actually sort of save the point at which the note was made in the recording, so you can see exactly what was said when you made the note, which is quite handy. And there's all the different instructions for it there, as you can see. It's compatible with Evernote, so you can sync it back to your Evernote account should you wish. And again, you can log into your Evernote account on the HTC Sensation XL when you're setting it up too, which is quite nice. I've also got things like HTC's Places app, or sorry, Google Places app. You've got Polaris Office there, which can open Excel, Word and PowerPoint files. You've got HTC's book reading application, the reader here. You can see we can just sort of scroll through cover art and select the book that we want to read. Just show you some of the preloaded ones here. You can see it's a pretty nice way to read a book, and again the screen's pretty large, you can zoom in and out. To be honest, it's not the kind of thing I would use the phone for, especially with the 1600 mAh battery. I mean, if you sat on the bus reading a book, you'd probably find your phone was dead by the time you got home. But still, if you fancy, if you've got a charger handy or somewhere to plug the phone in, then you might be able to read it on lunch or something. You've got the stocks application that you usually find on HTC devices. You've got SoundHound, which is for analysing music. Say you hear a song on the radio that you like, you can just open up SoundHound, and it will listen to the music and tell you what the song is, and then allow you to go and buy it or find out information about it, which is quite handy. Back from here, we've also got a task manager built in there, which makes a change. Again, quite nice to see that on the HTC devices. You can switch to a task, or you can just kill off tasks, you can see there, or just kill all at the bottom. So you can see what they're using in terms of data and that. If we go back as well, we've got Google Talk, instant messaging application. Got the usual teeter game. We've got a tasks sort of list. You can list what things that you've got to do, like a to-do list. We've also got this little application for transferring from an old HTC device. We've got Twitter, we've got voice search, voice recorder. You've also got a voice dialing app, which is new, and you've got this usage monitor app, which, to be honest, I really like. You can see we've got mobile data usage here. We've got minutes, tell you how many minutes you've used in any session, and also tells you your messages you've used as well. So it's quite handy basically for keeping a track on everything that you're using throughout the month. We've got HTC's Watch app there, weather, Wi-Fi hotspot as you find on a lot of HTC's devices, and the YouTube app. So that's a quick rundown and review of the HTC Sensation XL. Overall, I really liked it, despite the fact that its on-paper specs were inferior to its siblings, the Sensation and the Sensation XE. But generally I found it a good phone. Quite like having the large display, makes it a lot easier to type, and you don't really notice the lower resolution too much, nor the slower processor. So that's a quick roundup from Russ Jeffers at mobileburn.com. Please check out our website for the full review, and also some sample photos and videos as well.